Starfield hits early access in less than a week, and I am excited. So excited in fact, that I have already started making builds for the game. Before we go any further, I should say that you don't have to worry, this is a spoiler-free video. I don't have a review copy of the game, and I've been dodging spoilers expertly so far. All my info and details of what I'll be listing came from the Starfield Direct that happened months ago. I would recommend avoiding the comments section of this video, because although I urge everyone to not share spoilers or leaks or anything of the sort, there's no guarantee of avoiding them down there. Anyway, disclaimer out of the way, let's move on to what this video is about. I'm going to be showcasing a variety of build ideas that I've come up with for the game, and also giving a brief overview of how I'm going to be making builds once Starfield is out. And we may as well start with that part as it's pretty quick to get done. If you've seen old character builds of mine from the Skyrim and Fallout days, then you'll have a good idea of what to expect. My Starfield builds will go through equipment, skills and so on to give you a strong character to beat the game with, but also have strong theming, which is why my builds will also contain backstories, explaining how the character got to where they are. As an additional bonus for Starfield in particular, I'm also planning to make ship builds. The current plan is to have these as separate videos, but I may do short summaries within the character build so that I can have specific characters match up with the right ship for them. I'm not sure how often I'll be posting character builds post-launch. I'd love to do once a week, but I feel that may be over-ambitious. Hopefully I can at least manage once a month. Anyway, that's enough of talking about formatting and schedules, let's get on to the actual character builds I've got planned out. Typically my builds will be based around a specific piece of equipment or skill in the game. It provides some decent framework and is often the spark of inspiration for the entire character. I don't really know what sort of uniques we'll be dealing with in Starfield, but we have seen a bunch of backgrounds, and these are what I'm basing my pre-builds around. I won't cover every single one, but I'm going to go through a fair few of them. First up we have Beast Hunter, and for this I want to go like a pure sniper kind of build. The character would be very much a hunter with a rifle sort of thing, and I wanted them to be someone who knows like humans aren't half as dangerous as the other wildlife out there. I decided to give them the traits of 3-star collective settler and terra firma, because I wanted them to come from Aquila City or thereabouts, and very much care about being on the ground. The whole space exploration to them is something they're more reluctantly doing. They'd rather have both feet firmly on the ground, rifle aimed, bang bang bang. Or probably just bang, because snipers don't fire that fast. And I figured this way it fits more into like, not quite a cowboy, but like a rough living wilderness sort of person. For the skills, 2 ones immediately strike out: rifle certification and marksmanship. We don't know the names of all the skills, so for the skills bit I'm going to be missing plenty that would be good, but this will give you a basic idea. And for this it really is, be a sniper. Rifle certification has got to make you better with rifles surely, and marksmanship, it probably makes you better at aiming or maybe some extra headshot damage. I don't know what the skills do as well, I'm just going off of names that we've seen and the odd description, but you know, it's a sniper build. It's a beast hunter, it wants to be able to take down the beasts in like one shot without them being able to get close. That's the kind of theme here. I'd love it if there were like some hunter style clothing that we could wear as well. And yeah, a fairly simple character, but I want to get a sniper build early, so this one might be coming like within the next month or so. After that we have the Bouncer. Punchy punchy punchy. So for the traits I went with Alien DNA and Neon Street Rat, and the skills, the main one at least, is Neurostrikes. Punchy punchy punchy. So the general idea here is that you were just a regular bouncer on Neon, getting as close to an honest living as that place could offer you. But you managed to punch some important corpos kid a little too hard one time, and have found yourself having to find some new employment. On your journey, you'll discover there's a reason you punch just as hard as you do. It's the alien DNA. Yeah, this is kind of like a fun fish out of water sort of story, where I wanted someone who was just very much a regular person in this universe. Just someone who was making their way, trying their best in a very crime-heavy and betrayal-heavy sort of area, which I imagine Neon will be. But I wanted to give them something that stood out. And this guy, I basically have them as One Punch Man. Just boom! Blah! Neurostrike seems very cool. We got a short look at it in the direct, and it looks awesome. So I want to build based around that. Bouncer seems like the right sort of background. We also have Bounty Hunter. where the idea is a heavily combat-focused character meant to be good with any weapon they pick up, and for that there'd be a lot of gun-based skills and laser-based skills, just heavy in the combat skills, anything that improves any type of weapon. They'll have had a long and storied career, resulting in some people loving them, others hating them, and you basically either helped or hurt half the galaxy. The balance could tip either way on your adventures, and while often I'll portray a character as more of a good guy, more of a bad guy, this one I wanted to be more morally grey, and where you could play as a good character, or as a bad character, or as a bit of both. So for traits, I figured unwanted hero, wanted, and hero worshipped, not only just beautifully linguistically tied together, with hero and wanted being, I love that. But yeah, the unwanted hero is like, you didn't want to get to this point, but you've got a lot of fame and recognition from the stuff you've done in your past. The hero worship gives you the annoying Oblivion dude, isn't that fun? But also shows that, yeah, some people absolutely adore you and think you're the best. But wanted shows that you've probably done some bad stuff as well, and there's people tracking you down and trying to kill you. And I figured those three traits in combination struck a really nice balance. Because if you're a bounty hunter, you've probably been doing it mostly for the money. And maybe you've got a heart of gold and you've occasionally done the good thing, but maybe you've just wanted the gold and don't care about the heart and done some bad stuff. So yeah, Bounty Hunter I'm very much looking forward to, but another one I'm likely going to do early, because once I've got some idea about what the specific skills do and what equipment there is, that's an easy one to go for where I'm like, I can play this just however I want, which will be fun. Less combat heavy now with the Chef. So I want this to be a very friendly character who's actually lived a decent life and is sociable and just kind of trying to look out for their friends in the dangers of space. Very different to my normal characters who had like everyone they know die and are all sad and I put the sad music on it. No, I wanted this one to be more of a, hey, I'm just out in space and I want to help people and be good. They'll have a passion for cooking for people and want to find exciting new flavours to work with. Hence, going through space and exploring the world. Bit of exploration incentive I feel is going to be important. Ideally, they'd mostly be a support-based character, with their own combat skills being a backup. Chef does start with the dueling skill as like one of the things you get with the background, so I figure that's, yeah, you'll have some knives for if anyone gets close, but hopefully companions can do most of the fighting for you, and there might be ways to help improve them. I really hope so, like cook them a good meal and they'll do better or something, or at least just give them good equipment and maybe you can sell the stuff you cook. Really don't know how well Chef is going to work out, but there is a gastronomy skill, so maybe that has some impact. I also figure like scavenging, surveying, botany, anything that's kind of like more exploration or crafting, but not like super high-tech crafting. Any skills like that will work out. And for the traits, I went with empath, extrovert, and kid stuff. Very much wanted to make them a positive, like, be around other people kind of character. Because I tend to go for, they're the lone wolf out here with their sniper rifle, bang bang, they've got no one around them. I've always steered away from companions and stuff in my character builds in the past, and I want to change that. And to help change that, there's also the combat medic, who would be a trained soldier who wanted to move away from their previously heavy regimented life and get to make their own decisions. They'd be a team player with a heavy focus on being a tanky healer, but also being able to put some decent damage with pistols, so I got pistol certification as a skill. They certainly wouldn't be helpless, but damage output wouldn't be the top priority of the build. It would be more of a focus on helping rather than harming, but you get that that isn't always how things work out. So I'd make sure to have medicine, wellness, and chemistry as skills, because those all seem like good ones to help, you know, boost any healing items you get. Hopefully you can have plenty of followers and have like a stimpack sort of system that Fallout 4 had, where you just stimpack them when they go down, or hopefully something even better than that, because it'd be nice to be able to just heal your followers. But I'd also want this one to be fairly tanky, so they don't just get too similar to the Chef as just a support character. Pistol certification for damage, yep, went through that. Traits, I went with Raised Enlightened, Empath, and United Colonies Native. Empath, obviously going to be a companion-focused character. I want to mess around with the different places they've been from, so United Colonies Native here seems sensible for someone who was just like a trained soldier, fairly regimented, fairly normal, so to speak. And Raised Enlightened, that's the what one? I've forgotten the word. Oh, like the atheist one, yeah, like the more secular religious sort of thing where they believe in doing good, and I figured that would go well with a more like pragmatic sort of soldier who's seen all these horrible things but just wants to help out. Yeah, I want to play around with both the religions and like the place you start out kind of traits and see how they combine, because I feel they could be interesting. Next up is the Cyber Runner, who would be an older criminal who thought they had made enough money to retire, but the bills kind of just built up, and now they're back in the life of crime, looking to actually strike it big enough this time to pay off all their bills and stay alive long enough to hopefully enjoy the money. They'll be kind of the character who avoids combat wherever possible. Not getting into a fight is the best way not to get killed after all. So for this, I'd ideally want them to be the pacifist character. We've heard that apparently you can't do like every quest in the game or the whole game as a pacifist, but I figure this would be the build that goes the most into that. And to that extent, the skills would be stealth, security, theft, concealment, persuasion, and bargaining. I figure that's a good combination of kind of like avoiding detection, taking stuff rather than fighting for it, and also a bit of trying to talk your way out of things if things do go south. For the traits, Dream Home, to represent that they've already had the life of crime and they've got this fancy house but they can't afford it. That one I know a bit about. It gives you a house but also you have to pay it off, which ties in perfectly with the backstory. Neon Street Rat, they come from a life of crime, Neon's likely their own home, and Wanted, because they were wanted, they did a lot of crimes and now they're having to go back to it and people might be after them. Ooh. We also have the Cyberneticist. The general idea here is an individual who never really felt like they fit in with anyone else. They always felt a bit too different, and as such got interested in robots rather than humans, and it's kind of hit the point of obsession where all they really care about is working on robots in whatever way they can. The idea behind this, or the inspiration I suppose behind this, is a Vasco-focused character. So Vasco is one of the companions we've seen, who's a robot, and I'd like to have someone who's entirely just focused on them rather than their own story. For skills, I went with, well, you get medicine, security, and lasers as part standard, I believe, with Cyberneticist. Also went with like astrophysics, outpost engineering, targeting control systems, robotics, basically anything high-tech I figured would work well with this. And for traits, I just went with alien DNA, because none of the traits really seem like super good for this character, but alien DNA fits in well with the idea of them feeling like they've always been a bit different, and if they've got alien DNA, hey, that makes you a bit different. We also have the Diplomat, who would be an ex-House Varun zealot, who came to the realization that words could be more powerful than actions when it comes to converting others. They've decided to try and improve the reputation of the followers of the Great Serpent by talking, rather than the standard killing everyone who doesn't instantly believe. So House Varun and the whole serpent religion thing is super interesting, and I want to make at least a few builds based around that, but I figure the standard would be, oh yeah, you're a pirate raider person who kills anyone who doesn't believe what you want. But I thought the more interesting story to tell would be one where you've had someone who believes in the Great Serpent and all of this, and rather than the standard of what we've seen so far, which is kill everyone who doesn't believe, they'd be going around kind of like a missionary, handing out pamphlets and whatever. I figured that'd be a slightly funny, but also interesting take on the religion. Obviously for traits, serpents embrace, they believe in the serpent, all nice and standard. For skills, persuasion, commerce, wellness, diplomacy, intimidation, leadership, basically anything social works here. They'd be another character who I'd want to play as a bit of a pacifist, but we'll have to see when the game comes out how viable that really is. The Explorer. They lived a sheltered religious life as a child. Now that they are in control of what they do, they've decided to move away from what their parents did and look to explore the universe and make up their own mind, rather than just blindly following in their parents' footsteps. So yeah, this is very much a, I've just turned into an adult and I don't have to do what my parents say anymore, I can go out on my own and woo! Figure that's relatable. I'd want lots of focus on like shipbuilding and traversal. They are the Explorer after all, so I figure like lasers, astrodynamics, scavenging, boost pack training, piloting, starship design, starship engineering, lots of like movement based both through space and like with the boost pack to kind of just get you moving around. This is an Explorer, you want to go around the place. For traits, I had kid stuff, introverted and raised universal. I am curious if kid stuff is going to match with like the religion, if there's any extra lines that tie in there. Because I'd have them raised universal, so they've got their sheltered religious life with their parents, and I'd be interested if you go back to your parents if they have anything to say about the religion or other like background traits you have. And introverted because they've lived a sheltered life. I figure this is very much going to be like my most relatable one for a fair few of you watching, but hey, hopefully it'll be like a fun little near reality escapism, if that makes sense. Something which hopefully isn't too near reality for most of you is the Gangster, who would be a loud, combat-focused build with no morals at all, just happy to rob and kill anyone to make some money, just a very direct and simple to play character. With some of these I'm trying to kind of go off the meta and a bit unusual with them, but I figure Gangster will just be, hey, lots of weapon skills, maybe a bit of theft, intimidation, stuff like that, wellness to be a bit tougher. But yeah, very much just punch, 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 neon street kid, wanted, I'm gonna shoot stuff. If you want kind of just a turn off your brain, pull the trigger sort of build, Gangster will be the way to go. Because we've seen it so much in like Aquila City and promotion and stuff, I'd also need to have a space cowboy build, which would be a cowboy in space. Kind of old-fashioned feel in terms of the equipment, like I'd want a shotgun for very close range, rifle for very long range, and a pistol as like your standard go-to weapon. And I want them to be a very style-heavy character. For anyone who's seen my Fallout 76 cowboy build, I'd very much base it around that. Yeah, it's a beautiful video, go watch. Even if you're not a 76 fan, it's just kind of fun. But I'd also want them to take some inspiration from characters like Han Solo and the guy from Farscape whose name I can't remember. That's gonna bug me, I should have wrote it down. For traits, I'd have them be a 3-star collective settler, obviously, unwanted hero, and wanted. Very similar to kind of like the bounty hunter, but rather than going around hunting bounties, they're just kind of like trying to live their life, be more of a morally good-ish person. Skills, pistol, shotgun, and rifle certifications, you get all 3 of them. Rapid reloading has got to be a thing and is gonna be good for them. And a bit of scavenging and a tiny bit of piloting as well, because you are a space cowboy, not a regular cowboy. And the final build I've got on my little list here, the Space Racer. So this would be heavily focused on spaceships, obviously, as opposed to being on foot. And it's just all about making like a super fast, really cool ship. Probably do like some smuggling to make money to improve it, and explore for research purposes and to find better crew members. This is another exploration-based one to some extent, but much more focused around building a spaceship, and specifically a spaceship with the design of just being the fastest out there. You want to go with every tech-based skill that just improves spaceships in any way, and for traits, spaced. Have I said space too much? I've said space too much. Yeah, but what I like about this is you can justify like doing some like illegal things such as smuggling and anything ship-based. Like, I don't know how good the ship-based combat and exploration is going to be, hope it's really good, but if it's fun, then this will be an amazing blast of a build to go with. And there they are, my Starfield builds before Starfield is even out. I do hope you enjoyed my musings and thoughts, and as you can see, I've got plenty of ideas for builds which will be coming to the channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss them when they're out. I'm planning on live streaming Starfield for the first day or 2 of early access, although I will be a little late to the party as it launches at 1 in the morning here, and sleep-deprived Sarge would not be super fun to watch. But I will be doing a real long stream as soon as I'm awake. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, don't go to the comment section, it's just not worth the risk, and as always, thanks for watching. Sarge out.